Hi friends, Dr. Millie here, and welcome to How to Be Healthy for the week of May 7th to May 13th. I'm excited to see what's going to be on the charts for this week, or on the cards for this week actually, because last week was pretty exciting, right? We went through a lot of energy shift. There was lots of, at the beginning, there was lots of kind of inertia or slowness or even the stuckness. I guess maybe it was partially influenced by Mercury kind of in its last legs of retrograde, or whatever they call that period, that where it's not moving forward yet. And then all of a sudden things kind of launched midweek, and I feel the energy has been a lot better. And a friend of mine, a light worker friend, said that the female light workers are being called to lead, and I very much felt that, because my business partner and I, she's also a naturopathic doctor, Dr. Patricia Pimentel-Selassie, we had our launch of our concierge-based health program called Nat Med Coach. If you're interested in Nat Med Coach, we provide holistic health services with naturopathic doctors and health coaches on a team for you, and provide team-based care in a year-long membership program. So we give a whole lot of online things as well as one-on-one appointments. And we've got teams who are working in specialty programs. We've got an autoimmune program and a fertility prep program. And then we've got general health as well. So check that out if you're interested. This week we are going to be using the cards so we're going to be going through how to be healthy in the mind, how to be healthy in the body, how to be healthy in the emotions, and how to be healthy in the spirit. How to be healthy in the mind, we're going to be using the Wisdom of the Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. How to be healthy in the body, we're going to be using the Earth Magic cards by Stephen D. Farmer. How to be healthy in your emotions, we're going to be using the Chakra cards. It's Tori Hartman's deck. And how to be healthy in the spirit, we are going to be using our beloved Doreen Virtue's daily guidance from the Angels cards. So I hope that is to your satisfaction. I'm finding that working with these 4 decks consistently on this week-to-week oracle reading that I do, we just pick a card and we see what comes up in terms of the message for the week and how to be healthy in these 4 realms. And I want to thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. I want to thank you for sharing. If you're interested in any kind of private reading or private services, then you can access my website at milliesays.com or at eatingformeaning.com. I have some nutrition programs on there. And I also offer a free Sunday night hypnosis. So if you go to eatingformeaning.com, you can sign up for happy hour hypnosis. It's every Sunday night. The link is available for you to listen to at your own leisure, anytime between 7:30 Eastern and 10 p.m. Eastern. So even if you're on the West Coast, I hope you can make it in that time slot. And to be honest, sometimes I forget to take it off at 10, and so sometimes it does run all night. But it's meant to help us to get over the Sunday night blues, which is very much a real thing, especially if we're still, working in the 9-to-5 job, if you're working for somebody else, if you're working in a capacity that's less than what your calling is wanting for your soul. Okay, so how to be healthy in the mind this week. This is the card. Observer. So in this card, this is card number 49, we have a wolf looking at a sleeping moon. Now we do have a full moon in Scorpio coming up this week on May 10th. I do know that. And so the energy is, probably going to be a little bit rangy, right? It's probably going to be another emotional week, although it's less stuck than last week. So hopefully if you're in flow, then this will be a really great week. I really feel like that. But anyway, the message for the mind is to be an observer. So this can be an observer of what's going on in your environment. This can be an observer, and he's using a telescope, so he's looking at something very far away, which is the moon, and he's seeing it quite clearly, right? You can make out the face of the moon. You can make out, the cheeks and the fact that the moon is sleeping, and the shape of the moon, details in the moon, the stars that are near the moon. And so really if we're able to observe with our mind this week and not judge or not rush to conclusions, or just quiet the mind enough, then this is how to be healthy this week in the mind, because we'll be able to see things quite clearly. We'll have great perspective. We will have a telescope to um, see things that are maybe further in the distance, or further away from us than we thought. We'll be able to see them quite clearly. And this happens when you put yourself in the center of a storm. Um, I often counsel my patients on, do you want to be at the end of the rope? There's that childhood game when you skate, and it's called crack the whip. And so we're all all the children are holding hands, and then they crack the whip, and the person at the end flies off. And the person at the end of the rope actually gets flailed around more than the person who's causing the action. The person at the center at the beginning who's causing the action actually is moving less and generating more of a ripple, more of a wave, so that the person on the end has less control, has less center, is more at the um, mind of or more at the helm of what's going on in the center. So if you can imagine and envision putting yourself at the center of the storm, then you don't get flailed around. You don't become just a victim of whatever direction the storm sends you, east, north, west, south. You actually stay in position from where you are, and there's a strength from being there. And so that's a strong message that's come out. Now this wolf is just positioned there. It doesn't really look like there's much movement going around him. It's just that he can see clearly things that are far away. However, if we position ourselves in the observer, when we're around people or around situations that are very dramatic, instead of just like doing what everybody wants us to do, or following the situation, what we're being called to do is to go into our own center and function from there, and make decisions as to how we're going to act, how and when we're going to respond. And so it's from a place of calm. In the eye of the storm can be happening all around you, but you are at the center, and you are calm, and you are observing, and you can see 360. So if this is something that rings true to you, that you have been at the end or on the outskirts of the storm, just kind of going willy-nilly around, always responding to how the urgency of the situation, or whatever way the group takes you, or the scenario takes you, it's really time to get into the center of it, and to start not so much about control, but just about choice and free will, and where you situate yourself. Okay, because you do not have to remain tethered to somebody else and waiting for them to let you go. You can be flailing all around like a kite in the wind. No, you can be the person who's holding the kite. And this is important in order to have a healthy mind this week. So I've already shuffled all the cards. Oh, and the card that just came out actually was rain, purification. This is the body. And then also both jumped out, which is rainbow. And so rain is purification, and rainbow is blessings. And so these, it does make sense that these follow one another. And these both, I just was shuffling a little bit more, and they both kind of turned over. And they didn't go anywhere. They just presented themselves. And so, how to be healthy in the body this week. This is beautiful. So when there's rain, let's start with this card. When there's rain, it cleanses everything. It cleanses the air, it cleanses the sky, it cleans the smog, it cleans the debris, it washes away the mold that's developed, it clears stagnation. And so, in order to be healthy in the body this week, this is a good week to detox. And it is spring, and it is a good season to detox. So if you haven't started detoxing yet, there's many, many, many ways to detox. You can just basically have a fasting day and only drink water. If that, or half a day and only drink water or lemon water or teas. If that doesn't suit you, you could drink fresh juices, fresh, not bottled, but fresh squeezed apple, ginger, celery, cucumber, carrot, beet. Be careful with beet juice, especially if you haven't detoxed much, because it's very, very, very powerful. It can make you send you into dizziness and blood sugar and loose stool and everything. Um, or if you're a little less experienced with detox, then you could do a very slow and you just cut all the processed food out of your diet. So cut the sugar, cut the alcohol, cut the caffeine, cut the deep fried, cut any takeout food, cut any convenience food. You just make everything from scratch. And it can either be fresh vegetables and lean proteins, or it could be a brown rice diet. I do generally recommend vegetarian eating or vegan eating as much more detoxifying than eating meat. Meat comes with it so many, antibiotics, or if it's even if it's free range, then the animal still has hormones. It's not that it's necessarily bad, but it's just not as detoxifying. Animal products just are not as detoxifying as vegetarian foods. And they really allow us to get to that place to feel um, you know, vulnerable and cleaned out and less toxic and less burdened. And that is how you want to approach this week. So rain just it definitely means drink a lot of water. I mean, if you drink 8 glasses of water per day, then increase to 12. If you only drink 1 glass of water per day, increase to 4. If you drink 4 per day, increase to 8. Really make an effort to either double or up to quadruple the amount of water you're intaking. Now, I'm not saying to drink 24 glasses of water a day, but you do want to be drinking 10 to 12 if that's possible for you, or if you're, not good with water or not thirsty. It's great to add cucumber to water, add ginger to water, add mint, add lemons and limes, add oranges, add grapefruits, add raspberries, blueberries. You can flavor it up, or you can make an herbal tea like a chamomile tea or a dandelion tea, very detoxifying, or even a green tea. I know I said no caffeine, but green tea is detoxifying whether it has caffeine or not, or white teas are detoxifying. And then there's lots of, yogi and traditional medicinal herbs, and Avonok, they all have herbal brands of tea. Yellow dock tea, very detoxifying. Licorice is detoxifying. So Schisandra berry is extremely detoxifying. So there's lots. And then for the kidney, there's lots of detoxifying foods as well, like parsley and cilantro and cucumber and celery and watermelon and juniper berry tea, and anything that's leafy and green is actually really great for cleansing the kidney and the juices of that. So parsley in your juice, or a little bit of spinach, but especially watery vegetables like cucumber and celery really make good kidney flushes, and you can add some apple to that or some watermelon to that, and that really makes a great juice. Okay, so however it means for you to detoxify, purify this week, purify, clean up your diet, increase more liquids, and that can be soups as well, so that you are getting rid of old waste. So we are moving on fresh and clear. And there's so many blessings this week. So, I mean, I kind of take this as a result, right? If you purify, you reap the rainbow, you get the blessings, receive the blessings. However, the blessings are here with us this week. So, how to be healthy in the body is to be happy in your body and celebrate your body and be thankful and grateful for your body, however it works. So many of us have bodies that we feel betrayed by, or that we feel don't work. And then we focus on the aspects of our body that are not as ideal as we want, or not as ideal, or not the textbook or the picture perfect version of what's portrayed in the media, but that's really not what's important as much as honoring your body and what your body does for you. You have 2 feet, you can walk places. You have 2 hands, you can build things and paint things and help people and pet yourself and feed yourself. You have 2 eyes, you can see clearly. You have 2 ears, you can hear clearly. So really celebrate the basic, fundamental, logistical capabilities that your body offers you, and even further from that, if your body offers you talents, and you can have deformities and still have physical talents, and even extra. Okay, so really try to tune into what your body does and the miracle that is within your body. This is the way to be healthy this week. That's really, really beautiful. I think that's really important because so often we get critical of ourselves, and that is not healthy, and that is not functioning from a healthy place. You know, it's fine and good to want change and to want to bring about change within yourself, but it's entirely different to judge and be harsh and to separate yourself, your mind from your body, or to hate yourself, engage in self-loathing, self-sabotage, mutilation of any kind. And we tend to do this to ourselves on our bodies, and this really is an expression of our mind. However, try to turn that around this week, whatever way that you might be doing that, whether it's extreme or whether it's just subtle, and just love yourself, love it, love yourself. Your body is you. And lots of people say, "Oh, my body's not me," but that's not true. I mean, we are spirit, we are soul, we are mind, we are. However, we need to honor and protect and nurture and nourish our bodies. If we're just mistreating our bodies, then we can't get very far actually in this life. And especially this life that you're given right now. I mean, the goal in this life is to be around for as long as possible. There's no escaping into the next world. If you believe in reincarnation, there's no, you don't wish to get this life over with and go on to the next, because you'll just bring in the same issues for yourself. And your job is to be as present. And now I'm talking to the light workers, or I'm talking to those who are focused on ascension and 5D and things like that, living there. But we need to be also existing in the 3D, if you want to call it that. I don't tend to talk in those terms, but for anybody that speaks to, we need to really be to stay here as well in order to ascend, because this is the physical body that we've been given in, and this is how humanity works. We're given this physical body that we're connected with. And so you want to be grateful for it and realize the blessings that it brings you in order to be healthy this week. And I think in order to be healthy always, but this is the week to work on it. And also observe how you mistreat yourself, and observe how you don't honor, your body, and don't purify your body properly, and don't give your body a break. This is the card. So we're at the green still. We're at the heart chakra. This is the gossip card. So we're focused on the emotions. We're focused on the love. We're focused on how we put love out there and how we receive love. Maybe stirring up drama. I'm probably going to read this because these chakra cards come with a little meditation, and they have their own little story. But that's what I see as the gist of this. There's the gossip is actually an archetype, a Jungian archetype, and or at least in the Carolyn Meese archetype deck, gossip is one, and they create energy around them, and but then they also sacrifice uh, their own integrity. They sacrifice other people, and they sacrifice their own integrity just to be interesting. And so, or to create energy. And so is it worth it? What kind of energy you're creating if this is how you're focused on telling stories? And storytelling is very important, but it's important that we don't mistreat others in the process, right? So let's just read what the gossip says. And that's a hard, that could be a hard lesson. To change how you share information, and how you change your identity, and how you come from a more centered place where that you are enough and your story is enough, and you don't need other people's stories in order to be interesting. So This is the legend. Charmaine is an eccentric and kind. From her chartreuse green dress, no, from her chartreuse green house to her fascination with scarves, she is a topic of town gossip. After her death, the local people discover her incredibly detailed paintings of their town and realize she was an extraordinary artist who painted their lives with love. They feel sadness for never having really known her. Inspiration. Charmaine Chartreuse suggests that appreciating differences is key. This card is a warning that you may lose a valued relationship if you do not appreciate what you have. Charmaine, so that's another message for this week. So if you're busy complaining about what you have, and this definitely comes into the physical, if you're busy complaining or feeling sorry for you about what you have or what you don't have, then you might lose a relationship this week that is important to you. Personal inquiry. Charmaine is about prejudice and misunderstanding. What am I resisting? So by rejecting something or seeing that you don't have something, you're actually resisting welcoming something into your life. You know, can we choose who we love? Can we choose who we work with? The answer is yes, to some extent, right? But if you love, you love, and you can't just push that away because it doesn't suit your plans. You can't always do that. Key ideas: uniqueness of others, naivete, support for your vision, lack of appreciation, and refocusing your life. And I really feel like the refocusing your life is very important, especially when it comes to the other readings, because we're observing ourselves, we're observing the world around us, and then we're also repositioning and refocusing ourselves to the center of the storm and looking at our body in a different way, and then also looking at our relationships in a different way. And the keywords are freedom, dance, and honor. The meditation is: visualize someone you may be judging harshly. Notice how powerful your negative feelings are. Picture yourself in a room with that person and tell them what you like about them. If you run out of things to say, start repeating. You can accept this person as they are. Allow them to tell you things they like about you, and when they finish, thank them for coming. And I think that this is also really important for what's going on politically, because everybody is either jumping to the left or jumping to the right and really judging others. And that includes the president, to be honest with you, because I mean, I really have not been following the news because I don't want to, I don't care about anybody's opinion. I'm just feeling it all through energy, and I don't want to be distracted, and I'm just trying to put the good energy out there. But so many people are judging this and judging that and really don't know the outcomes. I mean, things can look one way and be another. And, you know, I'm not saying that that is absolutely the case, but generally that's always going on. And so if that's what's leading you, then just kind of check yourself, right? Because that's, you don't actually know. There's an energy of life in and of itself. It's not dependent on, you know, what the media is saying and what people are believing and what is left and what is right and who is you and who is not you. And we, it is important at this time that we kind of really create lots of grays, lots of colorful grays, and really extend ourselves and open ourselves up to other people. Now, whether that's people who have different beliefs to us, and even if you, you know, it's like the left here, what I notice, especially here in New York, is that they want to um, they want to judge people harshly for not accepting, you know, people of different colors and races and sexes and, you know, gender preferences and economic status and all these things. And yet they really want to instill their values onto how they see the right. And so they really want to alienate the right, the people who are in the Republican or Trump or supporters or what have you. And there's a real uh, disparity there, actually. You can't be intolerant of anybody if you preach tolerance. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you don't have preferences and you don't like things and not like things, but to be intolerant of people, a whole group of people, because you think the ideology is different from yours is actually not sacred. and it's not coming out of a good place. And especially it's hypocritical when you're trying to instill positive values of acceptance and then you're being just as unaccepting. So I'm not saying that people shouldn't be activists. I do actually, I'm an activist, and I definitely feel people should be activists at what calls them to be passionate. Um, when they're really moved to and when they really know what they're talking about and what they're acting on. And you don't have to be right or whatever. There can be opinions, and that's great. But yeah, we don't want to alienate people just because they think differently than us, or they seem different from us. And we certainly don't want to be intolerant if we're preaching tolerance. Okay, so that's a whomper. That's a big whopper of how to be healthy in your heart this week is to be non-judgmental and to reposition yourself and actually look at yourself and observe yourself in your judgment. Judgment is a big problem because judgment separates us, and that's all it does. That's all it does. It just separates us. And we don't even know if we're right. Like on a spiritual level, we don't know if we're right. Now let's see how to be healthy spiritually this week. What's this one? Release and surrender. Such a beautiful card. So we've got the angel with her Pegasus wings. And she's kind of like, the Oscar lady of Statue of Gold. And she's kind of got an inverse heart up around her collar. I don't know if you can see that. I don't think so. But if you have this deck, take a look at this card. It's so beautiful too, the amethyst and the gold. So really healing angel colors. I'm going to read this card. And she's standing on a base of amethyst as well. And she's got her arms, outstretched. And the angels say, "We shower you with blessings of our radiant love. Open your arms and release the challenges that you've held tightly gripped within your hands. Open your hands, arms, and heart to our love and assistance." And I think that that's a really beautiful way to cap off the week in terms of being healthy spiritually, is just to release and surrender. It's certainly releasing and surrendering judgment and repositioning ourselves and kind of looking at ourselves to see who we are and how we are, and releasing and surrendering the judgment that we have on our own bodies and really focusing on having a healthy, purified body, a clean, a body that's breathing deeply, a body that's urinating a lot, having, regular bowel movements, having good digestion, having blood moving and circulating. A lot of people having allergies this week, so maybe reducing inflammation, increasing your vitamin C foods and your quercetin foods and your purple berries. And I use this product OPC3, great for inflammation, and also just feeling and realizing that you're blessed in your body and appreciating your body, and observing, not to judge, but observing so you cannot judge, so that you can avoid judging. You observe to see how you're being in these ways, how you're being physically towards yourself and towards others, where you're positioned, how you're being in your heart, in your emotions, in your relationships, and release and surrender. Release and surrender all that judgment. Beautiful reading. I think it's going to be a challenging week for some people, to be honest, because if you haven't done this work yet, then it is ahead of you. But it is soul satisfying to do this work and to find your humility and know that you are not right and just be able to say, "I am not right. I do not know what is right," and release and surrender the need to be right. And that'll also release and surrender your need to judge yourself, which is one of the most toxic things you can possibly do, is to be hard on yourself. And it's only by being easier on ourselves that we're easier on other people. And Tolerance breeds tolerance, and intolerance breeds intolerance. So if you're intolerant of yourself, then you're intolerant of others, even if you think you are being tolerant. And so this is going to be, I feel the emotion this week. Last week I said that it was going to be an emotional week. Last week I realized it was just getting going. And this week it's really opening up and it's going to burst out. So let your heart burst out of you. Release and surrender. Observe what is happening to you. Do not resist it. And many blessings and change, because you're going to be a different person next week when we see each other again. So God bless. This is Dr. Millie. Have a great week.